Okay, so for today's video, I'm gonna be showing you how I solder two wires together without using a soldering iron, using a lighter, which is a lot more, it has to be one of those little turbo type torch lighters because they got a lot more heat than a traditional lighter. But these are really cheap on Amazon or anywhere else you can find them. And you can only do this really for low voltage wiring. You're not supposed to solder together household wires like that are 120 or 240. The reason for that is because it's the amount of electricity that goes through it could create heat that could soften off the soldering. So that's why you use actual mechanical connector like the wire nuts or any other type of connector that is approved for that. So this is only really for low voltage. So for cars, trailers, or anything else that uses low voltage. So first thing that you're gonna do is always pass first before you solder what you're gonna be protecting your wire with, which is one of these shrink wrap tubings. And the reason why you gotta put it first, because once you've had connected, and soldered together, then you can't get it in. So you put it in first of whatever you're connecting and move it back a little bit because you don't want the heat to go ahead and shrink it while you're actually soldering. What I like to do, and let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit here more onto what I'm going to be doing so you can have an idea here better. Okay. What I like to do is fray it a little bit, get a couple off to the side so that it has some type of like temporary mechanical lock and it doesn't come loose while I'm trying to connect it. And I'll turn one of these halfway back. And then on this side, a couple also halfway back. And I lock them in. So kind of like that. And then turn everything together. And that way, because you could just also put them all like that and twist them. The problem is sometimes they could come loose, especially if you have some type of tension on the wire that's leading somewhere else. So this little piece where you get a couple of wires like that and then twist it makes it very convenient to hold on to each other. Then you're gonna come here with your flux. It's very important. If you don't use flux, when you start soldering, it just starts to drip out of the way and it doesn't work properly. So you have to use flux. You can't cheat on this. And you can't put too much. It'll just fall off if you put extra. So it's no big deal. Then you come with your wire, which obviously the wire has to be specific, the thickness to whatever you're gonna do. You can't use really thick soldering wire with thin wire that you're putting together. So it gotta correspond. And you never heat up this wire, because if you do, look what happens. It's just gonna melt it back and do nothing. It will not even adhere to your wire. So what you do always is you heat your wire. The wire you're gonna actually connect. And then this, you're gonna dab it until you see that it pulls it. And eventually it's gonna start pulling like right there, look. It's just going in. And that's it. So you heat here always, and then you start dabbing it, and it's gonna start pulling it in. Once you have it there for like a few seconds, that it's not gonna interfere with when you put this through, that it's gonna like make it get stuck and not pull through, then you could pull it through. And what I'm trying to say by that is that if you immediately try to put this, because of how hot this is, it kind of like shrinks itself as you push it in right there, and it doesn't let you pull it through all the way. So you want to let it cool down a few seconds at least, and then you pull it through. Kind of put it in the middle. Then you come right here, give it some heat with this, or you could use a heat gun or hair dryer, but this works perfect. So you could really get away with just a lighter to do this whole thing. And then you move it around because you don't want to leave it in one spot too long that you melt the actual cover here, the shrink cover. And that's it. It's perfect and it's protected. And I'm gonna go ahead and post some of these items down on the description in case anybody wants to see these items where I bought them, which is on Amazon, but I'll put a link on the bottom. Now I'll catch you on the next one.